Boys, how you feeling?
Feeling good. Feeling good. How you guys feeling?
Wonderful.
What have you just had it with lately? You're just like,
How long you
I've
got?
had it. Hey, well, here's the thing. I've had it with people who don't know how to do their job. Went to go get Easter bunny pictures today for the kids. And these people running it didn't know what they were doing. I've had it with people who just don't know what they're doing. Like, literally, when you're doing pictures like this, Santa, Easter bunny, like it's a high pressure situation because no one really wants to be there. You're making people spend a bunch of money. And then like, you don't know what you're doing. I've had it with people who don't know what they're doing. What have you had it with?
What did they not know what they were doing about
Everything.
that?
Everything. They didn't know how to take the pictures. They didn't know how to print the pictures. They didn't know. Dude, it was awful. Picture came out spectacular, but they didn't know what they were doing. Took forever. We're at the mall for like an hour and a half. Supposed to be there for like 15 minutes. It was awful. I've had it with people who don't know what they're doing.
That's fair.
I've had it with people that just straight up don't know how to drive because it's come to the point where the majority of the population on this planet doesn't know what to do, doesn't know what they're doing behind the wheel of a car. I used to be a huge proponent of once you turn like 70, 75, you should be retested for a driver's license.
Okay.
I used to be a huge proponent of that. I'm thinking to the point now where it's like every 10 years, you got to go. You got to you got to get checked. You got to get checked because some of these people, man, that's what I've had it with. Just people on the road. People on the road don't know what they're doing.
You know what I've never understood is like, I just had to get my license updated recently, and like, what is the point of that? Like, that's a perfect time to make people retest the driver's test, right?
You got to go in anyways.
Otherwise, you're just going in there to like tell them if you do or do not want a new picture. Like, that's really why else are we doing it? So that's what we should do. We should campaign for that.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I'd prefer a road test, but like pop quiz. You don't know what you're getting. Like, here's 10 questions. You have to answer 8 of them right.
Bro, that's harder, I think, than the road test, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I failed the permit test 3 times before I got
there
my
you
permit.
go.
But I passed on the road test the first time I did it. So yeah, let's make people do these standardized tests to prove that they can be on the road.
I love it.
Nice. Dude, in West Virginia, there were 4 tests at the time. There's A, B, C, and D. And I took all 4 of them. Because I think it was like I got A, and then because it wasn't in order, I got like A, C, D, like, and B was the one that I passed, and that was like the 4th one. But yeah, so you're not alone, Chris.
Hey, that's just proof. It's tougher.
Yeah,
Pop
it is
quiz.
tougher.
What was your question? What are we just sick
What
of?
have you had it with?
I've
What have you
had
had
it
it with?
I feel like I've had it with
This podcast.
Good night.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
He's like, I wasn't going to say it, but since you asked.
Yeah. And things might get testy moving forward here, boys, but let's get down to brass tacks. No, I think I'm like every year I should be not complaining about this because this is my 36th time doing it, but like every year, like we just go through 2 to 3 months of like, hey, it's summer. No, it's not. Go back inside over and over and over again. And like, I even just went to Florida and we had like 2 days that were like, hey, welcome to summer, tropical. This happens all the time down here in Florida. And then the rest of the trip was like this Pittsburgh shit. It was 60 degrees. You go to the beach, you're freezing your ass off. I'm just sick of it. Like there's no, the way they talk about the seasons, right? You have winter and then, I don't know, something comes in like a lion and it goes out like a lamb and it makes you feel like it's just like, oh, you just linearly go from one season to another. No, it's this bullshit where it's like, it's winter. No, it's summer. It's hailing. Your flowers are growing. Okay, 50-mile-an-hour winds all night, so you can't sleep. Like, I'm just sick of it, bro. It has to stop. And today was a good day. I'm saying that on today was beautiful.
You're right. There are like 2 to 3 extra seasons that we don't account for, that the transition periods are really, really rough.
Yeah.
They need to be accounted for. All right. So we've got new drivers tests. We're adding seasons. And Didi just wants people to know what they're doing when they're taking Easter Bunny photos. You know,
Yeah.
We're just changing the world here.
These are the issues.
Know what the hell you're doing. Yeah. Well, what's up? It's the Brunch Breakdown. Didi out here in Los Angeles. Chris and Dan are in Pittsburgh. Today on the show, we have some fun topics that I'm very excited to get into. The worst thing to be good at. What is the worst thing to be good at? And what makes you old in 2023? How do you know if someone's old in 2023? We're going to talk about that. I can't wait. Also, we have another edition of SHAQ Court that is gonna be spectacular, and I cannot wait for it. Music, beer, and more. Dan, let everybody know where to find the Brunch Breakdown.
I'd be happy to. You can simply find the Brunch Breakdown anywhere you listen to podcasts, people. Anywhere, find us. We are the Brunch Breakdown. We have new episodes that come out each and every Wednesday. Just make sure you're hitting follow or subscribe wherever you like to listen to your podcast, so that episode comes to you ready to roll Wednesday morning. We've got full video episodes as well that debut on our YouTube and Facebook pages at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, also every Wednesday. But you, of course, can watch those on demand anytime you'd like after that. We are everywhere on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Triller, TikTok. Just search for us at Brunch Breakdown and follow us. We follow you back. It's a nice little friendship that we have digitally with all of our listeners. And of course, do not forget the Sounds of Brunch playlist that gets updated every Friday. We give you what we're listening to at the end of every episode. We put that into a playlist. We keep on last week's. We kind of double stuff it all together, put it together. We call it the Sounds of Brunch, and you can find that exclusively on Spotify.
Beautiful. Well, let's get random topics off our chest. Chris, you were not here last week, so sir, get it off your chest.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for this opportunity to go first. So I mentioned I was recently on vacation, went down to Florida for about a week, and we had a great trip. I had a few observations. I may be doing chess segments for the next few weeks about this trip. Okay, so I've chosen one.
You load it up.
Let's go.
I've chosen one to talk about today, and this one. Man. Okay. So we went to the beach a couple times. One of the days that we went to the beach, it was actually weather appropriate. Okay. So we're having a good time. My kids are young enough that like they've been to a beach before, but they didn't remember it. So like every time we go, it's to them, it's the first time they've ever done it. And what I want to get off my chest is like, if you're at a beach or a playground or anywhere where like you may be with your family and other families are there, each and every single parent has an individual responsibility to watch your damn kids. Okay. I am not in Florida on vacation to watch your kid. While we were at the beach, some lazy ass, I don't know if it was a mom or like an aunt or grandma or like what, I don't know what her relationship was to the child that she had at the beach that day, but she just sent the kid to our family and kicked back on the chaise lounge at the beach. And I'm just like driving me crazy. And there was a splash pad near the beach. So like at one point we left the beach, we went up to the splash pad. Oh, what do you know? 15 minutes later, who shows up but this kid that's not my kid, but this person thinks I want to watch this kid. Parents, understand, you have a role to play here. And when you're at like a fun spot, the families are there to, I don't know, have fun and not watch your kids. It cannot happen again. I was so angry. Katie was like, she's so much more go with the flow with this type of stuff. So she was fine. Our kids were playing with this little girl, so they were fine with it, I guess. But like inside, I was livid, and I don't know what I'll do if it happens again. That's all.
Yes, I'm so excited. I love this. This was part one of your series of vacation. Get it off your chest. I'm very excited. If that's the beginning, I'm very excited to see where this goes, because everything you said was completely true, but I don't know why parents do that. How old was the kid?
She was at least a few years older than my oldest. So like, it was a kid who was much more capable of running around and playing and doing different things than my children, who are 3 years old and under 3. My kids aren't even 3 yet.
So she was a stranger. It was a stranger.
Oh, a complete stranger. Yes.
Old enough to be considered a stranger, not a runaway.
I need a couple more things. I need a couple more things here. Were you in like a private area? Were you in like a community or something like that, where people thought because listen, Chris, you've been to the Cape with me. You know the beach where it's like a private beach where it is, right? So if that happened there, it would kind of be like annoying, but it would also be like normal. Was that the kind of situation you were in?
No, we drove to St. Pete to go to the pier and go to the beach there, which is like a public, anybody come in. Yeah. So it was not like, oh, it's the community, we'll hang out for a while. No, all right. No.
How do you I'm taking notes for planning purposes in the future. Like, how do you avoid this situation in the future without, like, what can you do? Do you maybe you split up as parents? You act like you're single parents, one with each kid.
Well,
we station up at the beach and then wait for the all clear and then come together and be like, oh, there you, and then there. But
that's a great question.
I'm trying to think of ways.
That's a great question. What do you do? I don't know what you do. What we decided to do after a little while was just move. But that didn't work. And so then after you move once, I don't know what you do after that.
Wow. That's a tough one.
That is a tough one, because it sucks because of the age, right? Because you can get away with that if your kid's 7.
Yeah.
And it's 7-year-olds playing around, and all of a sudden there's some random kid around with you.
Right. Because the kids can play together.
Yeah. But
my kids need somewhat constant oversight.
Yeah.
So get your kid out of my family. Also,
side note, you mentioned that your kids have been to the beach before. Isn't the beach you're talking about in Michigan?
That's one of them.
Okay.
They've been to, good point. They've been to beaches at lakes before. They've never been to a ocean beach.
Those aren't beaches.
Yeah, they've never been to an ocean beach.
Those aren't beaches. So
give your
kids credit.
This family,
they didn't know where they were.
Yeah, no, you're right. And that actually makes me even more mad, because then this family actually really did ruin a special moment with so great. Now I'm even more pissed. Good. Thanks, Dee.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for.
Boy, we really changed, where lake beaches and ocean beaches had a completely different meaning 7, 8, 9 years ago for all three of us. But here we are, just trying to help each other out.
Oh, God. All right, Dan, get it off your chest. Go for it.
I'd be happy to. Thanks, Dee. We've talked about this a little bit before on the podcast. It was about the frustration of businesses or stores or restaurants closing without notice, right? Let me know so I can get fill in the blank one more time or something like that. Guys, I think we are starting to get that notice from a little store called Bed Bath & Beyond.
Oh.
It's been no secret, right? It's kind of been a little public that the parent company of Bed Bath & Beyond has been struggling a little bit. They've been closing some stores here and there. But if you're like me and live in a place like I do, you always think that Bed Bath & Beyond's always busy. It's not going anywhere. Well, boys, my neighborhood Bed Bath & Beyond closed last week. Closed. Done. Gone. Empty. Had a complete liquidation sale. Started off 30% off, 50% off, 70% off.
Damn it, I missed that sale.
You did. Oh, it was an incredible sale. Oh, when we went, we were stocking up where we could. They were selling off fixtures, the whole store, literally. I've never seen anything quite like
the fixtures at that store.
At the store, the shelving units for the store. They were selling everything.
That's
Get
amazing.
any dollar they could, and people were buying them up. Let me tell you what, people were buying them up. There was just nothing left. There was just nothing left at all. But guys, we can't lose Bed Bath & Beyond for good. Okay, we can't. There's no way we can let that happen. Okay, where else are we gonna go? Okay, where else are we gonna go when we cannot figure out what to buy someone for their birthday or for Christmas? That family white elephant every year, and you just go around the world, literally there, and trying to hope to find something, right? Or like, where are we gonna go, you guys and myself, when we're gonna take when our kids are getting ready to move off to college, right? You always go for the big Bed Bath & Beyond trip. Like that's the destination. That's the place, right? I want to be able to walk through that wild world of everything for any room in the house that you can and cannot think of, that you didn't even know existed, but didn't know that you need. And, just looking and then seeing all those overpriced goods, and then, but you've got that 20% off coupon that you got in the mail. So everything is now affordable at Bed Bath & Beyond. So you are in it to win it, friends. So let's take this now as our final warning sign and save Bed Bath & Beyond before it's in the graveyard. That's all I got to say. Let's take this as the warning sign and let's save it.
Dude, okay, couple things. This is great. I love how Dan, I never could have predicted that Dan would draw the line at Bed Bath & Beyond. I never saw that coming.
Dude, me neither.
We can't lose it.
I never saw that coming. But I was totally with you until you mentioned the coupon, and now I'm wondering, is this all Bed Bath & Beyond's doing?
Ooh, okay.
You, me, everybody. People who live in tents had a Bed Bath & Beyond coupon showing up at their tent everybody had that coupon. They were giving money away for decades. I think this is their fault. I'm going to miss it, but you can't give that much money away that consistently.
It's a great point. That's a great point. It's but they tried the Kohl's approach, right? When you go into Kohl's, everything is always on sale. That's why they have digital signs at Kohl's, because they're constantly just changing that percentage off. You're like, wow, look what I'm saving here. It's always on sale at Kohl's, but Bed Bath & Beyond makes you think, hey, you've got the longest golden ticket for that, and you wait that one a year. That's 20% off of your entire purchase, not just one item, your entire purchase. Yeah, so you got a good point there. You got a good point there, Chris. But I don't want Bed Bath & Beyond online. I want to go in the store.
I hear you, because honestly, where are the Shark Tank products gonna go? Because that's where you can find them all. All the Shark Tank products, all of the as seen on TV products, they all go there. That is their home. Where is their home gonna be now? Because I know other stores have the section, but there's a section of a whole bunch of stuff.
It's the whole store is the section.
Yeah, the whole store. It's really stuff that is this good? I mean, maybe.
Yeah. What's that store that sells candles? Just
Yankee
wall
Candle.
to wall. Not Yankee Candle. No.
Be more specific.
It's always in a mall. Bath and Body Works.
Bath and Body Works.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's where Shark Tank stuff is going. I feel like that and Bed Bath & Beyond are kind of the same thing, but just different products.
Okay.
They should have merged.
They should have.
Come on.
They should have talked to us first.
Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to get it out there. Go. Use the coupons. Save it, people. Save your Bed Bath & Beyond before it's gone. You'll be sorry.
All right. The reason I didn't go second is because Chris's had to do with not the similar thing, but parenting stuff. So I'm gonna go last here, and here we go. Got to get this off my chest. Just because, and I hope my wife doesn't hear this because she'll probably run in here and say, "Shut the podcast down." But anyways, listen, guys. Just because you have a kid doesn't mean, and I have a kid, doesn't mean that we are gonna be friends. People think that just because you both have children, that means all of a sudden you guys are going to be friends. No. if I wouldn't have liked you without kids, I'm not going to like you with them. And that goes to people that I know. If we didn't talk to each other then, just because all of a sudden it's like your wife had a baby, that means, oh, we're going to be boys now. No, that's not what that means. And I need people to get that out of their heads. Like, please, parents, stop. Like, stop trying to put, it feels like, you know how, like, at least I always said this, was like, and actually, none of us met our wives through friends. So when friends set you up with people that they think are good for you, and then you're like, you go on a date or you meet that person, you're like, what the hell were you thinking? That's what I feel like right now as kids are getting older and you go to these things and they have all the parents there. It's like birthday parties, recitals, all this stuff. And it's like, oh man, wives are good. You got to meet the husband. Oh yeah, you guys will be perfect. He likes sport. And you're like, does he? Because the NCAA tournament's going on right now, and he's never mentioned it. If you like it, you mention it. It's literally the biggest thing happening in sports right now. So if you like sports, you're going to talk about it. And I'm just saying, like, just think before, like, you approach someone just because you have a kid too. Just think to yourself, just like, okay, do you think this is going to be a good match? Probably not. Or yeah, and hopefully it works out for you. But just think, just because you both have kids doesn't mean you should be friends. Just it.
That's good, man. And I think people think like either finding other families to be friends with the kids. I think people think that that's way easier than it actually is. Like, it's not an easy thing. Like, even like the people you've always known that have kids, it doesn't mean, like you said, it doesn't mean that like you guys are going to want to hang out all the time with your kids. That's just not how it works. You know, it's just not.
Isn't it kind of weird? And you guys are going to get there soon enough and I'll be years behind, but it gets to a point when your kids get a little older and they have friends in like elementary school, middle school, and then you kind of have to get to know your kids' friends' parents. And then sometimes by default, you're just hanging out at the same places. And you're almost like forced to be friends with these people because your kids chose to be friends with each other. Be like, why don't I get a say in this? Like, no, it doesn't work that way. It just doesn't seem right. It doesn't seem right.
That's a really good point, Dan, because like you and me growing up in high school were like best friends with like all the same people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like our parents outside of us all being friends didn't also get together and hang out. You know what I mean? We were all best friends.
Like, well, our kids are friends. We might as well be too. Be like, I don't like these people though. No, I don't want to do that.
Our parents did not ever. And I don't mean just your and mine, but I mean like any of our friend group. We all have the same friends. As friends, we all had the same interests. We were in like band and stuff like that. We played in a band together. Our parents never hung out.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. But like, I guess when they get older, and I guess I went through a different situation because like I lived in a very small town that my dad grew up in. So some of my friends were like my dad's best friend in high school. So it's like weird like that. But yeah, I don't know. My parents had their own friends for the most part, and they hung out with their own friends. So I don't know. But yeah, I'm just saying, just because you had kids doesn't mean, and you guys are, and Chris, you probably have to be dealing with this a little bit because you live in the same place you grew up in. So like, you know who has kids, and maybe you've been approached by somebody that you don't like and they're like, oh yeah, we should hang out. You don't have to say it out loud, but I'm sure that you have.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't, nobody hangs out with us. We don't hang out with anybody. We just kind of, but for the most part, we found that like when the opportunities present themselves for us to hang out with a couple who has kids that are the same age as us, our kids just get sick and then we can't do it anyway. So it just never happens.
That happens.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into Brews Day, gentlemen. What are we sipping on this week? Chris, what you got?
Well, I'm not sipping on it today, but I did do a review of this beer on my Instagram when I was in Florida, and I couldn't bring it back with me on the plane. So I'm going to talk about it here via phones on my picture. I had a beer called Florida Man. And shout out to my brother-in-law, Mike. He picked this up when we were down there. And it was perfect because you guys remember, like, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 episodes ago, we did our Florida Man stories. It was a cold open that Dee Dee had us do.
Yeah.
This beer is like made because of the ridiculous Florida Man stories. On the side, this is how they describe the beer. It's a double IPA. Unpredictable varieties of hops used in nearly criminal volumes combined to create a bold, citrusy double IPA brewed to pay tribute to, quote, the world's worst superhero, Florida Man.
I love that.
And it was delightful. And it was 8.5%, which could get you in some trouble, which I appreciate. If you're going to have a Florida Man IPA, man, it's got to be, it's got to be up there. But it was, as described, very citrusy, right up the alley of one Daniel Dudley. You got some of those citrus fruits in there. But I more than anything loved it because of the description and because of who it was named after, which is Florida Man. That's my beer this week.
Incredible. All right. The beer I had, I'm also not sipping on. What I do have with me is a Pacifico, but I'm going to sip on that during the show. Shouts to Pacifico, but I don't have this with me. I had it last night. Mammoth Mountain Brewing Imperial Root Beer IPA.
Whoa.
Very good. Like, so at first I grabbed they have non-alcoholic one, right? And I was like, wait, that's not what I want. And then I was like, dang, that sucks if this is only non-alcoholic. It wasn't. Found the one with alcohol, and it was awesome. I was nervous because there are other root beer like beers that taste like root beer, and I'm like, and I haven't really enjoyed them when I had them. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try this again because I really like root beer, right? So I was like, well, let's give it a shot. This one, very good. Mammoth Mountain Brewing. I've also been to Mammoth, and that's awesome. I love Mammoth, and in Colorado, and it's just, listen, it's good. It tastes like root beer. There's really not much to say here. It just tastes like root beer, and it's awesome.
I dig that.
I've never had a root beer before, but that sounds intriguing.
Fascinating. I like that a lot. This just had me thinking from the prior topic. Are we going to end up being like the movie Grown Ups, where like us as friends, like we'll never stop hanging out, and then we just go on these weird trips together, and then our kids, a variety of ages, just are forced to then like they start off hating each other, and then become the best of friends. Like, is that the road we're going down?
Yep,
I think so. I think that's the way to do it. Instead of letting your kids force you into get-togethers, force the kids.
Yeah.
You know, they'll go to college one day and they can have their own get-together. But like, nah.
Yeah. All right, let's plan on it.
Here's the thing. Me and Siobhan's brother Jay have had this conversation. We just talked about how the kids got to be like in their 10s or something like that. And then it's like, we're just going to start taking the worst trips. We're just going to go to middle of nowhere, Nebraska. And we're going to have fun because we'll just be around each other drinking and whatnot. And the kids will have miserable vacations. And we're like, whatever. Cool. So we've talked about this a lot. So yeah.
Well,
it'd be motivation. They can work hard and earn their own good vacations one day.
Yeah. Because we won't care. We're like, it's why people go to the Outer Banks. It's because they don't think about the kids. Like, there's none but lighthouses there. They don't think about the kids. They just think about themselves. They're like, we're gonna have a ball. I'm gonna drink wine with Carol. I'm good. Like, cares.
All right, we'll book a trip, Charleston, 10 years from now with all the kids. I can't wait, boys.
Let's go.
What won't happen there is a naked threesome. Shout out to you, Chris.
Let's go.
Let's go. Notice I didn't say again. I did. We got a new beer fridge. We finally got a new beer fridge.
Congrats.
And that usually requires a little reorganization, a little inventory check, right? Because we ran into some issues, and we're back. And this little beauty's been sitting there.
There you go.
Didn't even know. honestly, I think I thought it was something else by the color, but I'm so glad I held on to one more of them because she's a beaut. You've had this many times before, Chris. Citrusy, juicy, hazy, just super smooth. You got all three of those hops in there: Citra, Crystal, Mosaic. Beautiful symphony from the good friends at Raised Grain Brewing. So shouts to you, Chris, and the Naked Threesome makes a return on the beer on Brews Day.
Sure. Of course. It's always good to have a naked threesome late on a Sunday evening.
Absolutely. Little Final Four action or Elite Eight action on a good Sunday. Naked threesome, just Sunday in the Knops. I don't know what to tell
you. Oh my God. All right. Well, cheers, boys. Cheers
indeed.
All righty. Well, let's get into first topic of the day. Let's talk about getting old here. Chris, you brought this up in the old Brunch Breakdown group chat. Tell us why you want to know how to find out if you're old.
Yeah, well, so I think like there are these benchmarks that people have, whether it be like when you reach a certain age, you become old, or like when you have like, you notice there's like a physical thing you can't do anymore that makes you old. So we've always heard these different things. I think like I've always heard is like when you pass 40 is when you're over the hill, but I feel like for our generation now, like I don't think 40 is necessarily over the hill. I think we're like expected to live longer. We're generally maybe healthier than previous generations. So I've always wondered, kind of about like, okay, what's that new number? But then there was one thing in particular that tipped me off on this trip to Florida that I was like, oh, when I do that, that is when I'm old. Okay. And it happened when I was on the plane. And I just happened to like look around, see who was sitting around me. And I noticed multiple people older than me, significantly, I would imagine. Have you seen like older people when they have the font size on their iPhone turned up to like 70?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. That's the thing. As long as you can keep the font size normal on your phone, I think you're still considered at least middle-aged, right? You're not officially old. But I saw that like it was kind of creepy, to be honest with you, because I saw like multiple people texting on like 72 size font at the same time, and I was like, holy shit, like I don't want to get there. So then I just wondered, like, what are some other things that you guys think? Okay, once this happens, or once you see this, or once you experience this, that might mean you're officially old.
Dude, that's so funny because all I'm thinking about in my head is like, because I don't know what your relationships were with your like grandparents or whatever, or with your grandparents, but I know when my dad had to be like, yeah, you can't had to tell his dad he couldn't drive anymore. Like had to do that. That was a big deal. Had to tell his dad he couldn't drive anymore. And I'm like, is that the new thing? Like Olivia's going to come up to you one day and be like, Dad, you got to put that font up to 75, bro. It's time.
Just it's too many errors.
You can't be doing this. You got to. Too many errors. Like you're looking at him, you're like, Dad, she taps you on the shoulder and she's like, Dad, it's time to bump it up to 75. And you're like, I need a minute. You got to go walk around the neighborhood.
Dreaded this day forever.
That's true. And those people are always like texting with a finger, right? They're not using the hands. And it's like, you can see the full conversations and they don't go more than like 12 words because like it wouldn't then fit on the screen.
Right.
So, small texts, couple words, and finger pointing. Landed. See you soon, honey. So like, oh my goodness gracious. There are some things that I've started to do, that I've started to like think of, like, okay, I'm not there yet, but I know I'm not that far away from that. Like when I have to start thinking about when I'm eating something or drinking something, like, how will this impact me tomorrow? Like that's when I fear I've officially reached old, when that's like every meal, every alcoholic beverage. And I'm like, what's on the docket for tomorrow, and do I have 3 to 4 hours to recover from this? And like that's where I feel like I'd get that's a scary moment in time where I'd be fearful that old age is catching up to me. I'm not there yet, but I know that that's when your body starts going, we gotta play some team defense now. Okay, this isn't just me anymore.
For me, just continually saying something happened 5 years ago when it happened 10 years ago or 15 years ago. And I find myself doing that more and more now when it comes to stuff. And like, this goes into another thing, like your pop culture references that you think are still current based on who's still current. Like, Drake is still a current person in music. Young people know him, older people know him. People know him. But Best I Ever Had came out 14 years ago.
Oh my God. It's a freshman in high school.
14 years ago. So that means kids who are, I don't know, like maybe seniors in college, like 22 years old, they heard that song when they were 7, maybe. You know what I'm saying? So think about that. Like, so they know Drake of when they were 7 years old. So like, they're like, what are you talking about? He's not current. That's that old guy. So like, I don't know. I think, but I do that a lot with music. I do that a lot with movies. I do that a lot with just random stories with you guys. I'm like, oh yeah, like 5 years ago. No, wasn't 5. It was 10. It was 15. So yeah, just constantly saying something happened way shorter than it actually did.
Yeah, the music one is one I'm quite frankly worried about. Because I'm not aging well in that department, if I can be completely honest with you guys. And I don't think that's probably a shock to you. But like I do feel like our generation is like, we just have more access to the music that's coming out, which means like, as compared to our parents, we should have more of an idea of what is relevant for a longer period of time before we lose touch completely. And I don't know when that's going to happen, but I feel like that'll definitely be, considering the access to music is so easy. Like when we stop hearing about whoever our daughter's heartthrob is, like that's going to be a definite sign. I had another one on vacation where it didn't click to me until I saw the texting thing. But at one point during vacation, this one quite honestly worried me a little bit, guys. Like you guys know, when I'm in the sun, suntan lotion, we're lubing up. All right. We're getting protected. So you just put the suntan lotion on a certain way. And then I come to find out that like, I need to go a little higher on the hairline because we're losing a little bit of coverage up here. And I had a sunburn along the top of just because I'm not used to putting lotion there. So that was one. I'm like, oh, phew, we're getting older a little quicker than I thought.
Yeah, that'll wake you up a little bit, right?
Yeah,
that'll wake you up. Another one that came to mind, and this one isn't just like abrupt, so I don't want anybody to get like super offended when I say this. This is more of a like complete transition change into this lifestyle. When you stop going to brunch and you start going to breakfast. Yeah, that's when you're getting old. Brunch is off the table. It's no longer brunch. You're going to breakfast. That's, I feel like, a sign. Now, I'm not saying you can't do both, but again, when the one is out and you're all in on breakfast. If you're rolling into Denny's 8:30, we got to get that special in. We got to get, and you're old for sure.
When you can talk about an encyclopedia, like, so I was thinking about this in like a bunch of different ways, and like I was just thinking about like because when the way Chris said it was like, this generation is like younger than other generations based on a lot of different things, and I'm just like, what would make, and I was thinking like, what would make like a middle school kid think I was old? And that's it. Encyclopedia. And I was thinking about this because of the NCAA tournament. And Florida Atlantic is in the Final Four. Okay. I don't know if you Googled Florida Atlantic's campus, but it's in Boca Raton, Florida. And it is literally on like, they say it on the website. It's like on like this long stretch of like coastline. It's beautiful. Their campus is. If I were somebody who were like 14 years old or 15, I would be like, I'm going there. When we were younger, if Florida Atlantic went to the Final Four, we'd be like, oh, that's cool. Because we couldn't look it up. We legitimately couldn't look it up. Like it would like we'd be looking at some encyclopedia that was made in 1970 something, and I don't even know if Florida Atlantic was a university then. Well, it might have been, but who knows? So it's just I feel like things like that are what make me feel old too, was like when I think about just like how easy it is for kids to access this information. And I'm like, man, that right there, knowing that back in the 1900s, we were out here using old encyclopedias to find information. Yeah, that makes me feel old.
Yeah, the conversations with kids, I think, like as we get older, is going to make us feel old pretty quick. And you're going to realize it.
Yeah, like when we're like, remember Bed Bath & Beyond? And they're like, who? That'll be one.
R.I.P.
We need to have Dan. We need to have like your your nieces and nephews like on the pod and just ask them like 5 questions.
Oh,
we
man.
need to have them on. Just ask them 5 burning topics and see how old we are.
Yeah, that'll be real prevalent real quick. Yeah, they'll be happy to help do that.
My favorite photographers. Photographers.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys got any more?
That's my list.
Yeah.
Some of them for me are like starting to happen now. Like now I realize things have changed a little bit where like coaches are younger nowadays, right? Not every coach, but younger people are getting coaching opportunities. Like we watched John Shire play basketball at Duke, and he's the head basketball coach there now. You're making me feel pretty freaking old. When you're watching athletes that you grow up that were like all of a sudden now they're coaching. Like, no, separation, go away. Come back when you're gray, and then we can relish those memories. But that one's sneaking up on me a little too frequently now. And then another one, and I'm going to remove kids from your equation here in particular. But when you start going to like a sporting event or a concert during the week, and you think, how early do I need to get out of here to beat this traffic? Major point in your life where you're getting to that old territory.
Or can I add one to that? Because I'm already here on this one. Or you just turn down all sporting events during the week.
There you go. All good, all the same.
Yeah, I turned down a concert on Thursday because I was like, I just thinking about getting home at midnight.
Yeah,
those kids
was like a lot.
The kids wake up at the same time every day, no matter what you do.
Yeah,
take them to the concert. They'll sleep in. If you don't sleep in tomorrow, we're going back to the beach with those strangers. We're not going to save you this time.
Oh God! All right. Worst thing to be good at. Chris, you brought this one up too. You were on it. This is why I like vacation, Chris, because he just fires off the topics on vacation. I love it.
Yeah, that's right. I actually have time to think, and then I just come up with weird shit. So this came to mind when we were in the Tampa airport getting ready to fly back to Pittsburgh. And my wife was in the bathroom with our daughters, and I was standing outside waiting for them. And I noticed there was a plaque on the wall in between the bathrooms. And I was like, what the hell does that say? I took a few steps closer, and it said like the world's best airline bathrooms as voted by, I don't know, somebody. And I was just like quite literally, what a shitty thing I mean, it's good to have good bathrooms, but like the shittiest thing about your airport is what is the best thing about your airport. Like, so I just started thinking, like, what are some of the worst things to actually be the best at?
Oh, mine have a theme.
Oh.
And they all have to do with, you'll figure it out. Lifting stuff.
Oh.
Being the
Yeah.
It's the worst in my worst thing to be good at. One of the worst things to be good at. Lifting stuff. Because everybody's gonna hit you up to do what? Lift shit.
Okay.
All the time.
Is another one of yours putting together furniture?
Yup. Might as well just go through the list.
Because I had that one. Because I had that, but it seemed like it was in line with what you were going with.
Fixing stuff. You good at fixing stuff? Yep. That worst thing.
Yeah.
Worst thing. Driving a truck.
Yeah.
Worst. Because that means you own a truck, which means you'll be helping people move, lift stuff, fix stuff, build stuff. Nope. All of mine have to do with moving. And all I could think about was the worst thing in the world is being the person that everyone calls when you move. If you have a truck, you're getting called when somebody moves. Like, you know how to build stuff? You know how to put pictures up? Thanks, Dan.
Yeah.
You're getting the call on vacation. You're helping out.
Yeah. Those are good. I love that whole theme. Some of mine are more of like a profession. Like, if you're the best proctologist in the United States, you're never having a good day. It's never casual with you. If you're voted best, it's the worst of the worst. Like an emergency room surgeon. You're never going home. I mean, yeah, you could save some people's lives, but the entrant into the start is never good. It's always bad news. It always starts with bad news. You're trying to turn it into good news. That's oof. No, to handle that emotionally, I can't even fathom that. If you're the world's best funeral director, I don't like what I smell there. I don't like that. I don't like being good at a job like that. My last one has a little bit of a twist to it. Best at gift giving. Like, gives the best gifts. Because once you become that person that gives the best gifts, that bar never lowers. Never lowers. So if you are known as a person that gives the greatest gifts, good luck to you, because you have set the bar for the rest of your life that you give wonderful gifts. So just be careful. Just be an average gift giver. Go to Bed Bath & Beyond. Buy some things. Nice average purchases that you saw on Shark Tank. Buy for everybody. Don't blow people away with the gifts that you give year after year. You're going to set yourself up for failure.
Nice.
That's my list.
Good list. I feel like we're helping people with this list.
We are.
Helping people.
We are. Chris, do you have any?
No, you guys mentioned a couple that I had. The only other thing I had was like the best at talking about politics. Like,
oh God.
Nobody wants to be in a room with that person.
Ooh. Yeah.
That's like being the best at talking about sports too, or not even being the best at talking about sports, just being the person that everyone knows talks about sports, and then they come talk to you about sports. Every fucking body. Like, God, is that the worst? Because you just end up in sports conversations with everyone. Stephen A. Smith's life must just be difficult. Minus the paycheck, it must be difficult.
Yeah.
That's all anyone wants to talk to you about.
And I've heard this from personalities too, where they'll have people that don't know sports come up to them because they feel like that's the only thing they can connect and relate to them on and start a conversation. Like, so how about that basketball tournament going on this weekend, huh? Like, get out of here. I heard Florida State's in it. No. Florida Atlantic. Look it up in the encyclopedia.
So I Googled this real fast about the America's cleanest airports. I mean, airport bathrooms. Tampa is one of the two. Newark Airport is number one. Actually, Tampa is number two on this one. But it's still one of the best. Apparently, the way that they have the urinals are separated from the mirrors. That's one of the main like reviews that people have about that airport. So you can't see anyone doing any business while you're washing your hands at the Tampa airport.
I love that. True. Yeah, it's like for you like pass it and then everything's on the other side.
There's like a lot of separation. Like there's separation with the baby changing stations. It's specifically in the men's bathroom. I'm like, I need to go to the Tampa airport now. I need to check this out.
How do you get on that committee? I want to be on the committee.
I don't.
That is a great question.
I don't want to go to the worst airport bathroom. No, I do not. I do not.
They're like, twist everybody. Instead of doing best this year, we're only doing worst.
No, sir. All right. We're up against time, but let's do SHAQ Court real quick. Let's do SHAQ Court. We're up against time, but SHAQ Court. Bring it up. SHAQ Court, for those who don't know, SHAQ has lots of products, and we like to just talk about pictures with SHAQ and his products that he endorses. And Tonka Trucks is one of them. Look at this. And unlike the other ones, guys, I think this one fits. Tonka Trucks haul a lot of stuff. SHAQ hauls his body around. It all works. It's a brilliant picture right here. Check this out.
It's Shaquille O'Neal standing behind a bunch of Tonka trucks, holding a bunch of Tonka trucks. They all look the same because he's wearing yellow. The package is yellow. Why? Why do we need this? Why is he stooping? Kids that are playing with these toys don't know who Shaquille O'Neal is.
But the people buying them do.
Yeah, the parents do.
Oh, yeah. And now I need to buy Tonka trucks.
I was going to say, is this working for you?
It's working.
Is that a recycling truck at the top there?
Oh, yeah. Where'd that one come from?
Dan, do you see what he's doing to me and Dee Dee right now as parents?
I hate it.
I'm on Amazon looking at Tonka recycling trucks right now.
Why does Tonka have to pay Shaquille O'Neal? Why does Shaquille O'Neal have to take Tonka's money? That's the question. The man doesn't say no, people. The man doesn't say no. I don't know why we haven't hit him up yet.
Yeah,
You need to.
we really do. I don't know who else would rep Tonka. Like, if you could choose somebody else to rep Tonka trucks, who else would it be?
Like John Cena, someone large, but
John
like
Cena.
SHAQ is better. This works for me, guys. And this Tonka recycling truck, $18.99 on Amazon right now. I might send one to your house, Chris. I think you need this.
How much is that big son of a bitch all the way at the bottom? Do you see that thing on the bottom right?
Yeah, that thing's huge.
That, compared to SHAQ, that thing is huge. Look at that thing. That's like a 1/8 to scale bulldozer. Like,
Yeah, you're doing some work.
it's massive.
You're doing some work. You're moving. You're
little
moving
sister.
somewhere.
Part of the it's part of
Yeah.
the Steel Classics collection. Just amazing. Wow. Like, I didn't know Tonka was struggling that badly. That they like. If I said name a toy truck company, name somebody besides Tonka.
I can't. Honestly, I
You
can't.
can't.
I can't do it.
So what are they doing?
I know.
They've already won.
Oh God. All right. Well, guys, that was SHAQ Court.
Now
Hope
I'm
you
thinking
enjoyed it.
about. Wait, now I'm thinking about other brands that are like they are the thing. Like,
It's like
imagine
Kleenex.
Kleenex.
Yeah, Kleenex is like, let's get SHAQ.
or Band-Aids.
Yeah, we got to really win the war over those private brands. Jeez, oh man.
Good for you, Shaq. Good for you.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Hey,
I'm
the money's green from everybody, I guess. It's all green.
like, there was another SHAQ one that I can't wait to talk about next week because
Great.
that might lead into a solid conversation. But yeah, but But now I need to Google SHAQ and Kleenex and see what happens, because I guarantee you he's got to have something. All right. Well, let's get into music. What we are listening to this week. Dan, what you got? What are you listening to, man?
Nothing But Thieves. Out of kind of, I don't want to say out of left field, but they released a song called Welcome to the DCC, which is the Dead Club City.
Okay.
No further questions, Your Honor. It's the name of their new album, due out in July, but it's a different sound than anything that they've really put out before. It's this great blend of like 80s dance music and kind of new age alternative. So it came as a bit of a surprise. I'm like, shit, me bumping this in the club. Nothing But Thieves. So this track is a jam, and I'm kind of really excited. It sounds like that's where this album is going to go. So welcome to the DCC from Nothing But Thieves.
Nice. Well, I have one that I actually heard while I was at the mall, waiting for the Easter Bunny. It is a song by some girl named Tash. She's been putting out music for like 5 years. It's got the song called For the First Time. I heard it. I Shazammed it. And I was like, this song's great. And it is. I've played a lot over the last, I don't know, few hours. So anyways, Tash, For the First Time. Great song. Check it out.
There you go. They don't find many diamonds in the rough at like the house music at the mall, you know?
No, you really don't. You really don't. Like, it's usually just Taylor Swift and house music. That's it. Sam Smith gets a lot of play at the mall too. Sam Smith gets a lot of play at the mall.
Can we have a tent at our grocery store music festival? A tent just be like mall, like the mall music. This is like the tent, and it's just DJ making remixes of Sam Smith, Taylor Swift.
Yeah, they'll have their own stage.
It's a little different twist on
on
grocery store music festival.
The mall stage at 6
Mall
o'clock.
Stage, yeah.
It gets serious.
So this week, honestly, guys, I have really not listened to any music at all. It's been a week, so I'm going to give you songs that I'm excited to listen to for this coming week. WSTR put out a new song on St. Patrick's Day called Till the Wheels Fall Off. They've been releasing a lot of new music so far this year. If you want a comparable, they sound a lot like Neck Deep, which is a very, very popular pop punk band from the UK. And if you haven't heard of them, well, you just need to listen to more pop punk music. But I'm excited to listen to this song this week.
Sweet.
Guess that
You,
brings it
right?
back to me. That
Yeah.
brings it back to me. Group Love. They're back.
Naked
My boys
threesome.
and girls of Group Love. They
go.
are back. I'm super excited. They released 2 new tracks last week. And they've got a new album on the way in July. So the song I'll put on the playlist is called Hello. Not a cover, unfortunately, but it's kind of got that classic Group Love sound, harmonizing vocals, and just good vibes all around. You always get that from a good Group Love song. So hello, Group Love. Welcome back.
Another song from an artist that I hadn't heard of before a couple weeks ago. I have no idea how to say this name, but Dochi, I don't know. It's a girl. She sings a song. It's called What It Is. It's got an awesome sample that she refers to, and the song is very much so early 2000s, late 90s R&B sounding, where a lot of sounds are going now. Because another way to show that we're old, the sounds on the radio sound like when we were growing up. So, but this song has a really cool sample that you're going to be singing the song when you listen to it. But also the solo version, not the version with Kodak Black, because it's just a worthless rap verse and you don't need it. So the solo version is the one you want.
Don't you like when they do that? They just have like a second version of a song and put a meaningless bridge with like 8 bars of it's
of
stupid.
just somebody who doesn't even care. Like they don't even care that they're on it. Like it's not like God, because we got spoiled because Lil Wayne, like he did work on a lot of those songs that he was on. Like it was like, whoa, you had no business doing this for Jay Sean. Why did you do this for him? Like, why did you do this? Like, God, but there's so many worthless rap verses out there they just throw onto R&B songs. And I'm like, I don't need that.
Sometimes I think that like rappers just record shit and then they find a way to put it on a song and it wasn't even intended for that song.
Yep.
All right, my second one is Hasta La Vista by Arizona Zervis. Put this dude on the playlist several times. I'm excited to listen to this song because every time I listen to one of his songs, it's like the catchiest thing I've ever heard. So we'll see if that trend continues this week.
Gotta live up to the hype. Gotta live up to the hype. I like it. Last one for me, Sabrina Carpenter. Off her new album titled Emails I Can't Send Forward. I'm gonna put Feather on the playlist this week. It's got some it's got some good groove to it, and she's like really turning into a pretty fantastic pop star and putting out some great music, including this album. So Feather from Sabrina Carpenter.
Nice. All right. And speaking of more R&B rap music that sounds like when we were growing up, Bia just put out a song produced by Timbaland that samples Missy Elliott's I'm That Bitch, and it's called I'm That Bitch, and it is awesome. I love Bia. She's one of my favorite out of a bunch of female rappers that are out there right now. She's one of my absolute favorites, and I'm That Bitch is awesome, and it will make you feel like you're in the 2000s again. So there you go.
We're going to feel very old after listening to this playlist.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
My last one, a song called Bad Habits from a band named Brooklane. I've put them on the playlist a few times in the past. They've been putting out a lot of collabs. I think it's like strategically planned. This one's with Gavin Magnus, but it's like they're on tour right now. And I think they actually did a really good job of like stockpiling content, if you will. And now they're just like trickling out all these collab songs while they're on tour. So we'll see if it's good.
Wait, I'm excited to hear next week's, because now you have to do double the work on Sounds of Brunch next week.
Don't I know it, man?
You have to talk to us about the songs that you put on and 3 new songs.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot.
Right.
Well, that is it for the Brunch Breakdown, guys. Before we go, did you learn anything today?
Anytime we're in a lull, we just got to send Chris on vacation, and he'll come back with a plethora of topics for us.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that much.
But the problem is I'm not going on vacation again for a while, so you guys are going to get nothing from me.
Damn it. Well, somebody, Dan, go on vacation.
I do. I have a couple of trips coming up, and
go.
so notes will be taken. We'll be
get on
taken.
it.
Yeah, and I'll stop by every local Bed Bath & Beyond along the way.
That's the Brunch Breakdown. We're out.